soccer, the 5 years. You know, your peak years are 27 to 32. And coached Rhodes and played for them in the EP League. And we settled down. I got the guys, got a bit of discipline into it. And we finished mid-table that first year. Went to the SA Universities tournament with Rhodes, and we had a nice run. And I think we got to the semi-finals. And again, I played for SA Universities. And the 79 SA University side won the Currie Cup.
Wow.
That's
some turnaround, eh?
Yeah, we played against Natal in the final. It was in the Vaal, I think. It was in the Vaal, and Clark Barker was the coach of the 79 Natal team.
Okay.
All my old teammates from Stella, etc. That university side was a pretty special team, and I think we won 2-0 in the final. And as a result of that, Dudley Zaganoff, who was secretary of the South African Football Association, he promised us, he said if we win, he would organize a tour to South America.
Okay, yeah.
So we won, and Dudley was true to his word. In early 9, so that was at the end of 79, January 1980, we assembled in Cape Town, and although South Africa was banned from international tours,
it's been banned since 1961.
there were 4 non-white players in the side that he
1980.
brought in.
Yeah.
They weren't part of the tournament, but
Yeah.
he brought them in. And the coach was Chipper Malloy,
Yes.
not the youngster who played for Pirates.
What was his nickname? Was it Fizz?
Chipper Malloy.
Oh, Chipper.
Yeah,
Okay.
old man, and
Okay.
he was exceptional. He played for Pirates, and he was our coach. And Roy Bailey was also our coach. Gary Bailey played for Manchester United.
Yeah,
And,
his dad.
his dad,
Yeah.
Roy, I became very close friends with Roy. And we assembled in Cape Town. We had a week there, and we got everything, and off we went to...
How did you raise money for that, or how did they raise money for that?
Well, when we went to Uruguay, we spent 3 weeks in Uruguay. And the very first game was against Nacional's under-23 side. Now, the 2 big clubs in Uruguay in those days, and might still be today, was Nacional and Peñarol. So our first game was against Nacional's under-23 side. They had quite a few first-team players, and we played on the Uruguayan National Stadium, which was where the very first World Cup was played in 1958.
Okay.
And they're so passionate about their soccer, they had a moat around the field. So there was a moat, they couldn't get to you, and you came underground, and then you came up onto the field. We played in January, and I've never experienced heat and humidity like that. It was absolutely incredible. And we were 1-1 till about 10 minutes to go. And they suddenly scored a couple of goals, and I think the score was 3-1 to them. We stayed in Peñarol's, because their camp, whenever they've got matches, they go into a camp. They got like a club where you go and stay. And we played, I think, 5 matches in Uruguay. One of them was against a town called Trinity Tres. And there was like Roy of the Rovers. They met you with a motorbike, a group of bikes, and you were driven into town, and everyone was around the square. And they declared it a national holiday.
For that match?
For that match. We arrived at lunchtime, we laid our wreaths. Artigas was their Mandela, had freed them. And we spent, each one of us had laid a wreath to the hotel, siesta time, and that night we played them, and the whole town was there. I think between 20 and 30,000, but the stadium was full, and we drew 1-1. We only lost the very first game in Uruguay. We went to Punta del Este which was, remember, the Cape to Rio yacht race became the Cape to Punta del Este Jet Set Holiday Resort. And what I learned in Uruguay with their soccer was that they didn't play 11-a-side soccer in those days, up to about under 14. They were all small-sided games, even on the beach. And so they relied on skills, development of skills, rather than worrying about offsides and all the kind of technical rules. They just let the kids play.
And have fun.
And have fun. And so from there, we then caught a plane across the River de la Plata. You stand like on a bus queue and wait for your plane. It's like a bus. Right, that plane's ready, you jump on, and we flew over to Argentina. And there in Argentina, and bear in mind that we weren't supposed to, the referees didn't wear black. There were no spectators because we were banned.
Is that because you were, South Africa was banned?
Correct.
That the referee had to not make it look like it was an official game?
Correct. However, in Uruguay, they didn't worry about that in Punta del Este. They just they loved their soccer. So, not Punta del Este, but Trinity Tres. Whereas when we got to Argentina, it was different. Spectators weren't allowed. And the referees wore. And so it was just our officials and their officials. And we played Fidel del Usta, which was a first division Argentinian team in those days, top division. And we beat them. And then we played Aretegro, who had actually won the national second division. And we're going up to the first. And we played them, and we scored first. And my centre-half partner was Conrad Barnard. He played, I think, for Chiefs later on, etc. And then they threw everything at us, including the kitchen sink. And we defended and defended and defended. The heat and the humidity was absolutely incredible.
The altitude, did that affect you at all?
We didn't feel like that because we were at seaside, you know, and it was, and they equalised in the last 5 minutes, and we drew 1-1. But I remember, I think we all must have lost between 8 and 12 pounds in that game. It was so hot and the sweat, etc. But we did well. We drew 1-1. I think those were the only 2 games that I remember, but we travelled up into the jungle on ferries. We had lunch in a hotel and up in the jungle. We went to a gaucho ranch. We really had a great time. And then we were supposed to, the final leg was Brazil, and something went wrong, and that was cancelled. And we flew back, and I think it was 4 to 5 weeks back to South Africa. An incredible tour. Something I'll always remember.
Louis, you mentioned that's the time, the period when South Africa was banned from international football.
Correct.
How did that whole era, that era of apartheid, how did that affect you and your friends and your teammates, you know, in your general football career and your general outlook?
Well, Enzo, you know, having grown up in Greyville was very multiracial. So for us, you know, colour never came into it. I remember I lived at 1 Percy Osborne Road. Across the road was an Indian family. So although, you know, separate development, some call it apartheid, you know, split race groups, Greyville was pretty multiracial, and we
never saw colour.
We didn't see colour.
No, we didn't see colour.
And I'm so pleased that actually, you know, because when I moved to Grahamstown, I got a knock on the door the second day that I was there, and there was a guy called Harry Rama. And he said to me, would you play for our Sunday League side? Now don't forget, Rhodes was in the Saturday League, the EP Saturday League. And I said, sure, I'll play for you. Indian guy, not knowing that the league the year before, there was a white team, an African team, an Indian team. You know, it wasn't multiracial. And the white guys, Grahamstown City, they were more the railway guys, the conservative guys, etc. Rhodes University was just in the process of opening in 1979, its university. And a couple of guys had come in, non-white guys, one of them being Ashwin Desai, who became well known throughout South Africa and is currently, I think, Professor of Sociology at Wits.
He was an activist? Or
he was an
journalist?
activist.
Yeah.
And they were all herded into a house called Adamson House Hostel. So to pick up the story from 79, again, when I first arrived, I played for Protea United and Sunday League. And they were like wars. There were two whites that played for it. Rob Holiday joined me and we played. And it was like war. There were these two white guys playing for this Indian side and a couple of colours on the side. But we played on a field called Fiddler's Green. That was like the stadium. And they were very competitive Sunday League games. But at the end of that year, everything just opened up. And everything became multiracial.
On a football front.
On a football front.
Yeah.
At Rhodes, because of the success of Rhodes, soccer 1979, they offered me a wardenship. And I became warden of Botha House from 1980. Traditional house, 60 students, all studying different degrees, law, pharmacy, phys ed, you name it, 60 odd guys, and I was the hostel father. I had to look after those guys. So it was responsibility that was given to me, and I find that in my life, whenever I've been given responsibility, that's always kept me in check and made sure.
Louis, if I may say, you've always been a leader. All the time that I've known you, you've always been a leader.
Well, I enjoy it. You know, I enjoy responsibility. And so that was a new experience for me, and we were part of the Founders Hall. I was fortunate in 1980 and 1979 to be awarded Sportsman of the Year at Rhodes. So 79 Sportsman of the Year, 1980 Sportsman of the Year at Rhodes. Loved what I did, my studies, and for the first time realized that my teachers were right. All those years ago at school, I always said you've got potential, but all you're worried about is sport.
Yeah.
And that was to have a great influence on my later life when I became principals of schools, because I was typical of one of those guys that had the potential.